It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. All right, you're up in the woods talking to squirrels, and you're working on launching this Collaborate Pros thing. Did you focus first on window cleaning because you've grown these window cleaning companies, so you have the most experience there? What is in the last year and a half as you've rolled this thing out and it's taking off? How did you get to here? I'm curious if you're willing to share, how many clients you're working with now. And I know you've got a lot in the pipeline too at the same time.
Yeah.
And then is there a ceiling on this thing? Where does it stop?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're probably not going to take on more than 300 clients per industry. Also, we're not going to have another client in your service area. So Dan, the cities you're in, I'm not going to take on other clients. So we will be exclusive to you. We will be, loyal to you. And it's not our goal to just grab anybody who comes. We want to be strategic about it. Ultimately, I've made the price a low barrier of entry so that, startups can do it. People who, are struggling or really need something to get going. The price isn't going to get in the way. There's a 90-day money back guarantee. So, again, it shouldn't be a price issue. I'm going to stick it to the plumbers, electricians, and HVACs. When we finally go work in those industries, that's who I'm going to stick it to, because those guys know they got to spend money on marketing.
As I say, the part of it is, and I'm going to walk you back a sec, because I don't think it's sticking it to them. I think it's value for value exchange.
True.
They are in a market where they're getting a click usually for an emergency thing, and the person has to go now. So there's a minimal amount of shopping around. The value of being in that number one spot when you're a plumber, your HVAC, you're anything where even Marvel Sewer and Drain here. I mean, many of their calls are well, I got shit backing up in my house, right? So the value of being number one and getting that click when, maid service, people shop around for freaking months, right? There's no emergency to get your home cleaned. And it's still super useful to be number one. You're going to get that first click. But when you have an emergency thing or something that's a big ticket item, and if you're number one, there's a ton more value there. And there's a ton more people vying for that spot because they know the value. So I don't think you're sticking it to them. I think you're charging what the market bears, and that you're valuing that position that much more because it's so much more valuable. So I think you're
but I mean, you asked me if I started in the window cleaning industry. Obviously, yes. I got a lot of relationships over the years with other window cleaners, and I don't really want to stick it to them by any means.
Got a soft spot in your heart.
Yeah. Window cleaners, pressure washers, these are my type of guys. I could talk all day and hang out all day with all you guys. So, that's kind of why the prices are pretty low and affordable.
Yep. No, but I think that makes sense. And I think it was before we went live, but we were talking earlier. It may have been on the show. It may have been before we were live, but you asked me how we price bookkeeping. And I said, well, I tell all the people that I do a demo with on our bookkeeping service that we're not communists. We don't charge people more when they make more money. There's no business principle that says this is only a government principle. It's not a business principle. The more money you make, the more you owe me.
That's a government principle.
That's a government principle. That's not a business principle. That makes no sense in the world we live in, because you're not adding any more value. If you're adding more value, then charge somebody more, right? And so when we do bookkeeping, I always tell people we're not communists. We're capitalists. We don't charge you more when you make more money. We charge you more when we add more value and we take more work off of your plate. So again, back to the HVACs and the plumbers and the sewer and drain folks, you're adding way more value when you get them to the number one spot. Then you have to charge for that value, or somebody else is going to do it and be in that spot. So,
the other thing about being in that number one spot, and I don't know how many people realize this, but the trust is transferred from Google to you. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that number one spot, people trust Google. That's why they're searching there. And you're number one. They're like, wow, this guy's the man. So when they're clicking on your number one spot, they already think they're going to pay more than the competitor. They already think they're not going to hassle with you, and you're the expert. So guess what? You can raise your prices, you can charge more, and people are perfectly happy with that.
And if you can be in the map pack and then right below the map pack, that's pretty sweet, because they're just getting eyes on you twice. They're seeing the same thing twice, and that real estate is so freaking valuable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.